The First Minister's government announced a new package of measures to ramp up action on climate change just a few weeks ago. Since then, though, he has needlessly ended the progressive, pro-independence government majority brought about by the Bute Hue Agreement. Responding to the climate emergency was at the core of that agreement, and I am proud of what the Scottish Greens achieved during our time in government. Free bus travel for under-22s, banning new incinerators, and ending fossil fuel heating in new-build homes. These actions are already driving down our climate emissions. But climate action is now under threat. Climate action is now under threat. So can he confirm to me today if the Scottish Government will recommit to the package of climate action announced, or will his last act as First Minister be watering down climate action and betraying future generations?
First Minister.
Officer, can I say that this government for 17 years, whether that was before the Bute Hue Agreement or as part of the Bute Hue Agreement, has a very proud track record of standing up to tackle the climate crisis. And of course, we are proud of the achievements that were made with the cooperation with the Greens, but we had a long-standing record on tackling climate crisis before we were in a cooperation agreement with the Greens. And what I would also say on progressive values, which I've heard Lorna Slater talk about in recent days, once again, our manifesto, the manifesto that we stood on, the manifesto that ensured that the SNP was by quite some considerable distance the largest party in this Parliament, was one that was rooted in progressive social values. So I would say to Lorna Slater, of course, it will be for my successor to come to this chamber and, of course, my successor's cabinet to make clear their priorities in tackling the climate crisis. That accelerated policy package is one that, of course, this government absolutely supports. But I would say to the Greens, it's now time for all of us, of course, on an issue-by-issue basis, to make sure that we continue to collaborate and work closely together. And I've got no doubt that the Greens will do that with whoever my successor is.
Lorna Slater.
One of the policies contained in the Bute Hue Agreement was to conduct a climate compatibility assessment of the proposed dualling of the A96. That assessment is now long overdue. Achieving our climate goals means drastically driving down car use. The Infrastructure Commission for Scotland, the Climate Change Committee and Transform Scotland have all said new road building to increase capacity is not compatible with the drive to net zero. So can I ask the First Minister, when will his government publish the climate compatibility assessment for the A96? And when it inevitably says we cannot afford, for the sake of future generations, to dual that road in full, will he commit to investing the money earmarked for this project into safety improvements and better public transport for communities who live along the route?
First Minister.
Slater will know, of course, that it's really important for these reviews to complete before, of course, we update Parliament. So again, it will be for my successor, no doubt, to give an update to Parliament on that matter. But when it comes to transport, I think we can tell a good story in terms of the investment that we've made in electric vehicle charging points and infrastructure, for example, and again, which we look to accelerate. We can talk about the fact that since 2011 we provided over £200 million of interest-free loans through the Low Carbon Trust loan scheme for the purchase of zero-emissions vehicles. We're committed to work with public bodies to decarbonise the public sector fleet, and we've provided £80 million to date to support the procurement of more than 4,000 zero and ultra-low emission vehicles, as well as charging and refuelling infrastructure. So we have a proud record, of course, of building infrastructure, be that road infrastructure or indeed others. But we also have a very proud record of ensuring we continue to invest in low-emission transport and affordable public transport, and will continue to do that again, I suspect, regardless of who my successor is.